All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving deep into the legacy of a true icon. Gotta be honest, I'm excited for this one. Michael Jackson.
Definitely an icon.
We've got these excerpts from a text, and it really digs into Jackson's impact. And it's not just about the hits. We're going way beyond that.
Yeah, it can be fascinating to see what made him such a global phenomenon, right? Like, what was it about MJ?
Exactly. That's what we're here to uncover, the real depths of his influence.
Well, it's definitely more than just the music. I mean, the numbers themselves are crazy. Best-selling album of all time. Over 400 million records sold.
It's almost hard to grasp those numbers.
It really is. But even so, that's barely scratching the surface, right?
Yeah.
His true power was how he transformed the entire entertainment industry.
Okay, now that's what I'm really interested in. How did he actually change the game? The source keeps mentioning revolutionizing entertainment, but what did that look like in practice?
It's about how we experience music, like music videos. Before Michael Jackson, they were just simple little promo tools.
Right, just to get the song out there.
Exactly. But MJ, he saw them as mini-movies. Storylines, choreography, special effects, the whole deal.
They were events. You had to see them. Like Thriller with the zombies and the whole cinematic feel. Did that approach really start with him?
He was a pioneer, no doubt. Billie Jean, those long takes, or Thriller with all the prosthetics and makeup. Smooth criminal, weaving these intricate storylines.
I mean, come on, who else was doing that?
Nobody. He elevated music videos to art, and that influenced a whole generation, not just musicians, but filmmakers too.
It's true, you can see his influence everywhere. And then there were the concerts themselves. I've heard stories, there were legendary spectacles.
They were on another level. Pyrotechnics, crazy sets, illusions.
Yeah.
He was even flying across the stage.
Oh, flying.
Yeah. Nobody had seen anything like it. He understood how to create a total experience, totally immersive for the fans.
It's mind-blowing to think about the impact of it all. And speaking of impact, we have to talk about that move, the one that seemed to defy gravity.
You mean on the Motown 25 special?
Yes, the moonwalk. I saw it as a kid. It was like magic. Did that single performance really have that much impact?
It was a cultural phenomenon. Wow. Instantly, everyone was trying to do it. It was so visually arresting, so seemingly impossible, that it became part of pop culture forever.
Even his fashion choices became iconic. That single glove, the military jackets, the fedoras, trendsetter in every sense of the word. But, the text also talks about this interesting duality in his personality.
Yeah.
Confident showman on one hand, but shy and private on the other. How did those two sides coexist?
It's really fascinating, isn't it? On stage, he was pure confidence, a natural, but off stage, notoriously shy, private, almost reclusive sometimes.
You have to wonder what that's like.
It speaks to the pressures of fame,
Yeah.
Especially for someone who reached superstardom so young.
The text even makes a point about the price of fame. It makes you think, what was it like to live inside that bubble of superstardom? Millions adored him, but was there a sense of isolation too?
It's a question a lot of people have asked. It gets to the heart of the American dream, right? And the potential downsides. That pursuit of success, it can be so isolating, especially when you reach that level of global recognition. And for someone like Jackson, who started so young, that isolation must have been even more intense.
It's a really complicated picture, isn't it? The king of pop craving normalcy. The global icon who was intensely private.
Exactly. And that complexity is what makes his story so intriguing. We can't just reduce him to labels or stereotypes. We have to acknowledge the full spectrum.
All right, so we've talked about his impact on entertainment, his global reach, the complexities of his personality, but his legacy clearly extends beyond all that, right? This text even mentions his impact on things like technology. What do they mean by that?
Oh, absolutely. Michael Jackson's influence is still being felt today in countless ways. For example, his innovative use of technology in music videos and concerts. That paved the way for so much of what we see today. The visual effects, the stage production.
So he was pushing the boundaries even in those areas.
He wasn't afraid to experiment, to push those boundaries. And that had a ripple effect across the entire entertainment industry.
Makes sense. But what about the music itself? Obviously, it was hugely popular, but has it really had a lasting impact, on music today?
Oh, without a doubt. Musically, he's inspired generations of artists across all genres. You can hear his influence in everything, from pop and R&B to hip-hop and electronic music. Artists are still sampling his beats, covering his songs.
Wow, so he's still relevant to new artists today.
Oh, absolutely. They cite him as a primary inspiration all the time.
It's amazing to think about. The text also mentions his humanitarian work. That's something I haven't really thought about much in relation to Michael Jackson.
It's an important part of his story. Sometimes it gets overshadowed by controversy, but his philanthropic efforts were extensive. The millions he raised for charity, the hospitals he helped build, the aid he gave to children around the world.
So it wasn't just talk. He actually put in the effort.
These actions really speak volumes about his desire to make a difference.
That's a good point. Even with all the controversies, that commitment to helping others shouldn't be overlooked. It adds another layer to this already complex picture.
And I think it's crucial to acknowledge that our understanding of Michael Jackson has evolved since his passing. We're moving beyond those simplistic narratives and appreciating how multifaceted his impact was.
So we're not just remembering him as the king of pop, but as this complex individual who made significant contributions to music, entertainment, even philanthropy.
Exactly. He was more than just a pop star. He was a cultural force. He reshaped how we view performance, race, pop culture itself.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. His story is really about transformation on so many levels, isn't it? His own journey, the evolution of the entertainment industry, and the way the world sees pop culture, it's all connected.
I couldn't agree more. He was a visionary, constantly pushing those boundaries, challenging conventions. But now I'm curious, considering everything we've discussed, how do you think Michael Jackson will be remembered 50 years from now? What stands out to you as his most lasting legacy?
That's a big question. I think it comes back to that idea of transformation 50 years from now. I think Michael Jackson will be remembered as the ultimate artist, the one who dared to dream big and then actually went out and did it.
And what's so fascinating is he never settled. Always innovating, pushing those boundaries, musically, performance-wise, everything. And that drive to evolve, that's what still inspires people today.
He didn't just accept the status quo, He saw the potential for more in everything, like how he took the music video and totally revolutionized it.
Totally. He understood visual storytelling in a way nobody else did at the time. And it wasn't just about being flashy. He was using those visuals to enhance the music, tell stories, create these really immersive experiences that went way beyond just listening to a song.
And his live shows were legendary. He didn't just want to sing on stage. He wanted to create this spectacle, an event people would never forget.
And he did. Yeah. Technology, choreography, stage presence, he used everything to create these immersive, unforgettable experiences. Some critics said it was all style over substance. But I disagree. There was real artistry to his performances, a way of connecting with the audience that you just couldn't deny.
And let's not forget the music itself. Those melodies, the rhythms, they haven't aged a bit, still resonate with so many people across generations, cultures.
His music had this universal appeal. It spoke to something deep within us. You could feel it, the way people moved, sang along, the pure joy they experienced listening to his songs.
Makes you wonder, how has our perception of Michael Jackson evolved since his passing? It feels like there's been a shift in how we view him.
I think so. When he was alive, there was so much focus on the controversies, the tabloids, all that media scrutiny. It was almost impossible to separate the man from the myth, the artist from the persona. But in the years since he died, I think we're starting to see a more nuanced picture.
We're starting to appreciate his artistry, his contributions to music and culture on a deeper level. Like we're finally seeing past the headlines, recognizing the complexity of his life and legacy.
It's about time, frankly. Because Michael Jackson was more than just a pop star. He was a cultural icon who challenged conventions, broke down barriers, inspired millions around the world. And his impact goes way beyond just music. He influenced dance, fashion, film, even technology.
It's hard to overstate his influence, really, but it's interesting the text specifically calls out technology. What are some concrete examples of how he influenced that field?
Think about his use of music videos to tell stories. His groundbreaking use of special effects, his incorporation of all this cutting-edge stage production stuff. These were all things that pushed the boundaries of what was possible at the time, and they have this ripple effect that influenced the development of new technologies, new artistic approaches.
That's incredible. It's like he was ahead of his time in so many ways, and it's inspiring to think about the legacy he's left behind.
His legacy deserves to be studied, celebrated. He showed us what can happen when you dare to dream big, to break down barriers, use your talents to inspire and uplift others.
But his life wasn't without its complexities, challenges. It's important to acknowledge that, too.
Of course. And I think that's part of what makes his story so compelling. He achieved this incredible success, but he also faced intense scrutiny, personal struggles. His life was a testament to human resilience, but it also shows the potential downsides of fame and the importance of mental health.
Earlier, we touched on his humanitarian work, and I think that's another crucial part of his story that often gets overlooked. It seemed like he had a genuine desire to make the world a better place.
He did. He donated millions to charity, visited hospitals, advocated for causes he believed in, especially those related to children. And while his efforts were sometimes overshadowed by controversy, there's no denying the positive impact he had on so many lives.
His actions really spoke volumes about his compassion, his belief in the power of love and unity. And that message is more relevant than ever, in a world that often feels so divided.
He reminded us of the power of music to heal, to connect, to inspire. And I think that's part of what makes his music still resonate with people from all walks of life, even today.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Michael Jackson's legacy, I'm left with this sense of awe at his accomplishments, but also a deeper understanding of the complexities of his life.
I agree. He was a true visionary, a once-in-a-generation talent who left an impact on the world that we'll be feeling for generations to come. We've talked about his influence on music, dance, fashion, technology. But what really strikes me is the emotional impact he had on people.
That's true. His music had this way of tapping into our deepest emotions, of making us feel less alone in the world, and his performances created a sense of collective joy, a shared experience that transcended cultural boundaries.
His legacy lives on within each of us, in the way we experience music, the way we connect with others, the way we embrace our own individuality.
Well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this exploration of Michael Jackson's enduring legacy. We hope you've gained some new insights and perspectives on this complex and fascinating figure. And as always, we encourage you to keep exploring this topic on your own. There's so much more to discover about Michael Jackson's life, his music, and his impact on the world. As we've been talking about all these different parts of his legacy, I keep coming back to this idea of transformation.
Transformation? In what sense?
Well, we've talked about how Michael Jackson transformed the music industry, pushed creative boundaries, became this global icon.
Right. Yeah, all those external transformations are undeniable.
But what if his biggest impact wasn't something he did to the world, but rather something he awakened within us?
That's an interesting thought. Go on.
Think about it. His music, it had this incredible ability to connect with people on a deep emotional level, right? It made people feel seen, understood.
His songs really did tap into those universal themes, love, loss, hope, longing.
And his performances weren't just about the music and dancing. There was this energy, this joy that was contagious. It was almost impossible not to get swept up in it.
Yeah, it was more than entertainment. It was an experience. He made you want to dance, sing, celebrate life.
Exactly. So maybe his true legacy isn't just about the music, the videos, the concerts themselves. Maybe it's about how he transformed our relationship with music, with art, and ultimately with ourselves.
You're saying he didn't just entertain us, he awakened something within us.
Yes. He reminded us of the power of music to heal, to connect, to inspire. He showed us it's okay to let go, to express ourselves, to be vulnerable.
There's something really beautiful about that idea. His music did have a way of tapping into those deep emotions, making us feel less alone in the world.
And think about those live performances. They were like this collective experience, a celebration of life and humanity, bringing people together from all walks of life.
It was more than just watching a show, right? It was about feeling connected to something bigger than yourself, something universal.
And that's a legacy that goes way beyond awards, record sales, all that. It's something that lives on in each of us.
I agree. It's about how we experience music, how we connect with others, how we embrace our own individuality.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Michael Jackson's enduring legacy, I hope you'll walk away with a renewed appreciation for the power of art to transform not just the world around us, but ourselves as well.
Beautifully said.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this exploration. Keep diving deep, keep the music playing, and until next time, keep those aha moments coming.